Are we a human being becoming stupid? Are we slave? Is this the modern life?
Life has become so much better because of a phone. The solution is only consciousness, there is no other way.
In the era of democratization of technology, innovation, smartphone, internet, social media, we are becoming more and more dependent on all of those tools. I am one of them. They are as important today as food, as water, as breath, as air. I'm sorry for the question. Are we a human being becoming stupid? Are we slave? Is this the modern life, life slavery for you?
No, I don't see it that way. Even if you were a caveman, you would carry a stick in your hand.
True.
You would never keep the stick down because it was necessary. Maybe there was a snake, maybe there was an animal, maybe there was something else. Always a stick. Today you're carrying a cell phone. I don't see any difference. That stick was useful at that time. This phone is useful now. Now, this is technology which has enabled us to do so many things. I remember 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was building the foundation, I had to go into those booths with a black phone and make 100, 200 calls at a time. Today, if I just think about it, my phone calls, all right. If I say a word, it'll call who I want and it's done. Life has become so much better because of a phone. But now people are in a state of compulsiveness. Anything you give, they are so compulsive, they make it into suffering. Compulsive eating, compulsive drinking, compulsive everything. So the problem is not phone, problem is not something else, compulsiveness is the problem. The solution is only consciousness, there is no other way.
And controlling ourselves.
No, not controlling, becoming conscious. If you become conscious, you're liberated, not controlled.
Alright guys, I have to admit there is something really bad going on with humanity now. I went to a dinner the other night, and one of the first times I've ever been to a dinner in my life with people over the age of like 28 or 30, and everyone besides me pulled out their phone when there was a quiet lull in the conversation. Now this scared the absolute crap out of me. Now in this video, I want to share how to stop using your damn phone so much, especially because you're missing out on life, which is what happens, ironically, when you're not on your phone. Hey guys, Alex Hine here, author of the book Master the Day. So I'll tell you what, the first date I went on with a girl that I dated for 5 years from 25 to 30, she pulled out her phone during like a very brief conversational pause after ordering food. And I waited for like 5 seconds. And I don't know if she was on Instagram or texting her friend back, but I pulled the phone out of her hand. First date, keep in mind. And I said, do me a favor, don't ever do that again. And she gave me this really like, okay, psycho look. And the funny thing though is, number one, it worked out. We ended up dating for 5 years. But number two, she became like a vigilante of people not using their phone while they're around their friends. And she was a lot younger than me. So I was like 25, she was 20. But all the times when we would go out, a lot of her friends would be on their phone all the time. And this really irks me. It really bothers the crap out of me. But unfortunately, since then, it's only gotten worse because now the generation beneath me has been born with cell phones and born with technology, and they're missing out on this thing called life. Kids now don't even know what not virtual reality is because they've lived in Instagram world or in all the other social media worlds. So how do you actually stop using your phone so much? Like, let's say you're one of the conscious people where you're like, all right, I know I use my phone a lot. I don't like this. I don't like being around people when they're using their phone a lot. What do I do? The first thing is lower the friction, right? It's very easy to use your phone, number one, if you have it on you all the time. So what I would start doing is, where I wanted to get off my phone more, is I would dedicate times of the day or days of the week where I would just not bring it with me. So if you go to school or you go to work, you could just as easily leave your phone, for example, leave it in your bag for one class to begin with. Or if you're at work, you could leave your phone in your car. And then when you really need it, you could go during your lunch break, for example, then check and reply to all the social media stuff or your texts. So the first thing is lower the friction by leaving it somewhere else for a period of time. Now the second habit is actually to increase the friction on doing the things you don't want. So if you're on Facebook and Instagram, just start by deleting the apps. Like, yeah, of course you can just go to Instagram.com and Facebook.com, but just delete the apps is gonna, it's gonna give you that like, I really wanna go to, yeah, screw it, let me just focus on this, all right? And if that doesn't work, put your phone on airplane mode during certain work blocks. So I've shared in some of my videos on productivity here that when I'm working, not only is my phone not on me, it's either at home, in another room, or it's on airplane mode with me. So I'm a big believer that don't rely on willpower and discipline. That if you've already gotten to the point where you have to just be like, no, do not click like on the picture of the girl in the bikini. If you get to that point, you're probably already out of luck. The way you chop that friction barrier, you either increase it or decrease it, is by leaving the phone at home, putting it on airplane mode, and removing a lot of the apps. But there's actually something a lot deeper here. And this goes back to my whole go sage mode thing and trying to be more conscious about the way you live your life. And that is living a life that actually excites you. I know, it sounds crazy. But if you live a life that actually excites you, guess what? When you go to dinner with interesting people and you have interesting things to talk about, you're not gonna wanna pull out your phone. If you're on a date with a pretty girl or a pretty guy and and you're really interested, like, what are the chances you're really gonna pull out your phone? Or if you're going to a really cool meeting for people that wanna climb Mount Everest, like, are you really gonna pull out your phone when they're like, don't do these 3 things or you will die on Mount Everest? Probably not. So the irony is that when you live a life that actually inspires you and actually excites you, you're gonna be fully engaged and you're gonna be fully present. You're not gonna be this zombie horde of people that are walking around in the car, at work, in the line, filling every spare minute with the phone. And so that, I think, is the biggest hack of all. If you love your work, if you love the people you hang out with, if you love your life, if your life excites you and inspires you, You're not going to want to spend it in virtual reality with people that you don't even know, with these fake social updates that people use to try to make themselves look better and show you the highlight reel. Because honestly, your real life is going to be better than their virtual life.
Here we are at the RACQ driver training facility and Keanu's about to take a lap. The kicker is he's going to be sending a text message while he does that. So let's see how he goes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and off you go.
Oh my god! It's under the car!
Oh, where am I going?
Go back, go back.
Oh, I keep looking down.
So let's have a look. What did you send?
Oh, I tried to say mum and dad are the best, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when you look down the text, send the text, you don't see where you're going on the road because you're always looking down at your phone. And then by the time you look back up again, you're completely not where you're meant to be.
Yes, and that's the point, because your focus is on the phone, not what's happening around you on the road. Imagine that now in a scenario where you're doing 60, 70, 80 kilometres per hour.
Yeah, it wouldn't end too well.
So, there you go. Even though you think you might be able to multitask, when you're doing something as complicated as driving, it's just not that easy. So take steps to remove the things that might distract you in the car and stay safe on the road.
A car has crashed into shoppers. A woman has died after she was struck by a car.
635 deaths already this year to distracted driving. When driving and texting, the danger increases on the road by 4 times. You are putting the lives of sisters,
mothers,
fathers,
brothers,
friends and family at risk. It doesn't hurt to pay attention on the road, but looking on your phone does.